Hey everyone, what is going on and welcome back to today's video. In today's video we're diving back into another operator guide. We are nearing the end of our little operator guide adventures, but we obviously do still have a few to go. So in today's video we're going to be going over Castle, as you guys can probably tell from the title. So before we jump into this video, I'd just like to remind you guys to, as always, leave a like on this video if you do end up enjoying it. That would really help this get out to more people, hopefully help more people learn how to play Castle, so I'd really appreciate it if you could take the time to leave a like down below. And while you're down there, you should also drop a sub. I mean, if you're interested in more content from me, obviously. If you're not, that's all good. Do not worry about it. If just make sure to check out the sub button if you're interested in more content from me. Maybe after this video, maybe after you watch a few videos, but I feel like you guys should definitely check that out. Slam the notification bell on as well while you're at it, and also come check out my streams if you feel like taking that next step. The streams are on every day except for Saturday, 7:15 PM Australia Eastern Standard Time. I'd love to see you guys there. And with that said, I think that's enough talking about all of that. Let's get into the Castle guide. So as always, we're going to start off with the weapon review. We're going to move on to the gadget utilization and finish off with the operator strategies. So without further ado, let's get into the weapon review. So Castle obviously has access to 2 primaries, 2 secondaries. His first and most used primary, I'd say, is the UMP-45, coming in at 38 damage on 600 rounds per minute. The damage is actually pretty solid. 38 damage is definitely in the higher tiers. I'd say it's a little bit higher than most SMGs, so I'd say it is a pretty high damaging SMG. Its fire rate is definitely a little bit slow compared to other weapons though. 600 fire rate is definitely on the slower side. It does also have pretty minimal recoil as well, so this weapon can be utilized really well if controlled correctly and put a little bit of practice into. I personally like this weapon a lot, and seems how with its recent addition, with the new update, it did come through and end up getting a 1.5 scope, which is pretty good. I'm pretty sure Pulse doesn't have access to that. Let me go check. Let me go double check real quick, but I'm pretty sure Castle is the superior in that sense, because I'm pretty sure Pulse does not have access to any other sights except holographic, red dot, and I may be wrong here, let me just double check. Yep, Pulse only has access to holographic, red dot, and reflex, so Castle is superior in that sense, keeping that 1.5, and obviously I'd say they're trying to indicate more that he is an anchoring character, because they wouldn't give him a sight if he was more of a roamer. Probably the speed has something to do with it as well, with him only being a 2-speed, Pulse being a 3. But with that said, this weapon is still very strong, and I personally believe it is one of the, I'd say, it maybe is one of the top tier weapons on defense, I'm not sure. It does have a pretty slow fire rate. There's definitely better weapons, obviously, but I still feel like it is quite a strong weapon to bring on the defensive side, and I definitely enjoy using it, that's for sure. His other primary weapon he has access to is the M1014 shotgun, 34 damage on a trigger finger fire rate. This thing shoots incredibly fast. I'm sure most of you guys know. I feel like this shotgun though is best paired up with Pulse. I don't feel like Castle really has a use for it in type of his playstyle. I feel like his playstyle definitely fits the UMP more. 100% recommend you bring the SMG just when you're playing Castle. Now, he has access to 5.7 USG handgun, but you should never use this over his other secondary weapon, which is the Super Shotty. Super Shotty was not too recently added, but I'll just say it, recently added to Castle's arsenal, and it kind of was like a buff for him to kind of make him more utility based and more effective when anchoring on the site. I believe that's why that was their goal with giving Castle the Super Shotty. But 35 damage, it has a little bit of a pump. It's not trigger finger fire rate, and it only has 3 bullets in its magazine, so it's definitely not the strongest shotgun. But its main purpose, I feel like, is definitely rotations. It does the job there, and then you can still pair this up with the UMP as well, so you have secondary and shotgun action. This thing can still do pretty good damage at close range if you need it to. And in terms of his gadgets, he has access to the bulletproof camera and the proximity alarm. I'm not really sure between these two. I'd say I'd just pick whatever I've already got on. Either one works. Proximity alarm's obviously going to come in handy for anchoring if you feel like you need something to give you intel on a push. Proximity alarm's going to clutch up there, but bulletproof can do the same thing. But obviously bulletproof is just a camera, so it gives you more intel, but only provides intel on one area, whereas the proximity alarm, I'm pretty sure you get 2. I think it's 2. I might be tripping. 2 or 3. Pretty sure it's 2. You get 2 of these, so they can watch 2 different angles, but they won't give you like spot on intel like the camera will. So either one of these probably do fit with Castle's playstyle. I feel like either of these you could bring, but it's just really up to you guys. I personally have been running the bulletproof by the looks of it here, but I'd say the proximity alarms can work just as efficiently, and yeah, either one will work out just fine. And with that said, let's move on to the gadget utilization. So Castle's gadget is the armor panel. The armor panel is it's a barricade, right? But like a barricade you can put on any window or door in this game that is obviously barricadable. You'll find all this out if you watch a video on maybe barricading or something. I know there's a guy called 5050. He made a video on barricading. Go check that out if you need a more in-depth guide on that. But if you utilize these correctly, if instead of putting a normal barricade, you can put down a castle barricade, which is completely bulletproof, so bullets cannot go in or out, and it takes, I believe, 11 melee hits to open with a regular fist, whereas the regular 3 or 2, depending on where you hit it. If you can hit it, either way. Barricades are definitely weaker than castle panels, and that is the point of castle. So utilizing castle's armor panel is basically, I'd say the best way to utilize it is, there's definitely strat-specific maps that you can utilize this on, but I'd say the best way to generally utilize this is just put it around the site to try and cut off entry points, and if it does get broken down, that obviously gives you an obvious play to, well, where they're pushing, because they wouldn't break down a castle unless they have intentions of where they're going to push there. So you can kind of adjust your hold as castle to try and play against that. I feel like that's the best way you can kind of utilize castle. But otherwise, he still just has a lot of use for the castle strategies. You can put them offside as well if you have a strategy to work with them. One of the best ways I like to utilize castles is to put a castle on the doorway so they can't peek, and then put a rotation like next to that doorway if there is an area viable for that type of strat. This works well because obviously they have to come through the rotation if they want to peek, because there's a castle on that door, and rotations, you want to make rotations so they're easy to peek as a defender, because obviously doors are either way, and if they push a rotation, it's going to kind of like sway it towards the defender's angle, because you might be holding a hard angle on that where the attacker won't be able to react in time, which gives castle the easy pick. These are just multiple ways I like to utilize castle. Obviously, you guys can do it differently, but I'd say the best strategy for just a general castle player would be to put them on site, but do not put them on site straight away as soon as you spawn in. People are trying to get in and out. I recommend putting the castles down in areas you can put them down, where you know people aren't trying to go in and out, or there's another way around. I'd put them down first while in the prep phase, and then put down those last castles maybe just a little bit into the action phase, just so people don't get mad at you, rip them down, then you have to go put them back up. Don't TK people because they rip down your castles. Half the time they're just trying to get out. You don't TK for that. But in all honesty, castle's gadget is really effective if used correctly. That is probably the best statement I can make in this video. If you go and watch specific videos on how to castle properly, I'd say they are probably the best thing. I'm probably not going to go over it in this video, but as I'll go over it briefly actually, but the best strategy to do this is definitely to play sites, and there's specific maps where castle strats work very effectively, but I'm not going to go over that in this video. There might be another video out there on YouTube. I haven't personally looked it up yet. That might give you details on that. But I can give you one example of a castle strat, and it's on Cafe. When you spawn into the kitchen objective, you'll notice if you go out the double door on the right, coming out of the kitchen objective, there is the long red hallway, and there's a double door going into dining. If you barricade that up, that is definitely the best strat. And then you barricade down into the small bakery, big bakery doorway as well. If you barricade those two together with a castle and put a rotation on the left there, that really makes bakery holds easier. Obviously, you want to reinforce that wall next to you as well. Then you also just want to put that last castle cutting off. I think the best strategy is to put it on prep room door, but I'm not 100% sure, just to try and keep them away from sight as long as possible and try and pin them in bakery. Obviously, someone has to hold. There's a lot of different strategies. You have to kind of work with a whole team. Just putting the castles down probably won't do you much. If you have communication with the whole team, though, you can effectively work that strat. Have two people, one person holding bakery, have another person roaming red stairs area, someone dining area, you know. It all builds up in strategy eventually, and you guys will get it down pat easily if you just keep playing castle consistently. Finally, we do have the operator strategies. I've already said this a few times this video. Castle is 100% an anchoring operator. He belongs on the objective, I feel like. Again, I know I get these comments every time, so I'm just going to say it. If I'm roaming in the clips behind me, it is for entertainment purposes. Obviously, I'm not going to anchor in casual because that's probably boring to watch. There probably is a bit of anchoring in there, to be honest, but I try and roam and get kills in these clips, just try and be more entertaining. That is why I'm not off-site. But listen to what I'm saying over what the clips are doing, because what I'm saying is obviously the tips. Anchor with castle. Castle's 100% an anchoring operator. He just has the perfect build for it, obviously having rotations with super shotgun, kind of an anchor-based weapon, I feel like. He also just has an anchor-based gadget where you can lock yourself in and then hold it down, knowing where all your castles are if you hear one get ripped down, hear one starting to get hit, etc. So I just feel like his all-around loadout is 100% an anchoring role, and this is definitely the role you should bring when you're playing Castle. Hands down, anchor with Castle. I don't really have much else to say on that. I don't know how else I can explain it. It's just straight up tips. He has the perfect build for it. Anchor with Castle. And with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and that is going to be the Castle guide for today. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like. If you didn't enjoy, leave a dislike. But before you go, make sure to come down in the comment section below and let me know what I could do better, because I'm always trying to improve my videos. If you did find this useful and interested in more guides, videos, just everything Siege related, make sure to chuck a sub on the channel and hit the notification bell as well. We upload here every day. I love to see you guys stick around and check me out a little bit more. I'd really appreciate that type of support. Also, come check out my Twitch channel. Links in the description. I stream there every day except for Saturday, 7:15 PM. I said all this at the start. I'm going to say it again just to remind you, if you made it to the end of the videos, use the legends. And yeah, if you have any more questions about Castle, any other operator, just anything general, I'll be willing to answer them over in my streams. Links in the description. I'd love to see you guys there, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.